Okay, so we got a touch delayed with these Schluter edge pieces will go on the ends, and there's a piece that sits in it. However, the wrong size came, so we had to get that reordered. It's coming in a couple days, so we're a little bit delayed there. So in the meantime, we are going to be working on the ceiling. We got some ply beadboard that we are going to stain. We're going to get that up. We're going to work back here on the hood vent. Going definitely a couple steps too far ahead, but it's going to be okay. We're going to mount our, right now we're going to put up our bracket. We're going to mount our TV, and then down here, we put in this slot right here, we put in the fridge. We didn't love kind of the way it looked, so we're going to create a base for it to sit on. It'll shrink the gap in a bit, and we'll paint the area behind. That's what we'll do today, and then from there, we'll finish the hood vent, do the tiling, backsplash, and then pretty much we'll be ready to go from there. A stain we really like, it's a really nice color, English chestnut. It is min-wax wood finish, semi-transparent English chestnut. So our plan is, that is what this is here. We've done it on some of our doors inside. It's gonna be the ceiling here, and then maybe the table, but the table we might also just paint the top. Probably a bit of overkill for out here, but we're gonna put a nice 65-inch TV up on the wall. So we're gonna go and center. Behind the sink, we're gonna have 18 inches of backsplash coming up to about here-ish. And then we've been thinking about how high up we want the TV off the backsplash, as well as how high we want it just off the countertop. So I figured that I think the bottom of the TV will hit about here, which puts the top of the TV another 33 inches higher. We just don't want it too high because then it'll kind of crink your neck. So it's about, the bottom of the TV will be about 2 feet off the countertop. And then the TV's up now. Back behind the fridge here was all white. We thought about that, and we were like, you know, we really want that to be nice and dark behind there and not see any potential light spots. So we're gonna paint it the same color as the cabinet, and then the new baseboard that we made down there for the fridge to sit on to reduce the space a little bit. That's gonna go blue as well. And then we have a trim board on the front, that's blue, and it'll all just be nice in one seamless piece. And here you can see why I wanted to get it up off the ground. Make it look like it's a little bit more built for the space. 25 and 66 is 41. So 41 inches up. About right. We're gonna putting a hood vent in here. So we just created a box for the hood vent to sit in. We'll screw into that. We didn't like how far back it's going to be, so we're going to put up a board first, and then that will come into here so that the hood vent can sit out a little further. So that's what we're going to work on first. This is about the height we wanted about 66, 67 inches, and then we wanted it centered in the middle of this where the box will go, which is 23 inches. So that's what we're working on. I know, though. So we just came in here, and this is that frame box we built. So we built this frame box here, and then we came in with our hood vent, and we've set it in. So now that this is here, we can go ahead and connect the inner panel, the decorative panel, and put that on the inside. And then we can also come in and we will put a header up at the top, up here, and we can connect up on the angle we want, and then we'll be able to start framing it out. And first we'll test, obviously, that it's working, but that's where we're at. Also want to note that hood vents may be needed based on your circulation. As you see, we have a big opening here. There's more over there. We're doing it to draw out some of the heat, to draw out some of the grease. This is an exterior wall, so it'll vent out the side there. So it is partially for that. It will be a big part for us for aesthetics. It's also, one other thing is that you want to get a hood vent that is not only conductive, whether or not if you want it drop in or inset and built around, if you want it to be an exterior. But then for this one here, we're gonna have a 36-inch griddle, so we need at least a 36-inch hood vent for looks, as well as just for the capacity of the size. So then that blue will match the cabinets down below. And then that's what this whole hood vent's going to be here. This is just a support beam, support piece to hold it up, but then there's going to be a nice wider piece of wood coming across, and that is what's going to be stained. And since that won't match these corbels perfectly, we're painting the corbels blue, and that stain will be the same that goes on the ceiling. So that is the basic framing for the vent, the VVOR vent hood, and then we are going to add another vertical. We're going to add a horizontal one or two for just a support. We're just going to put a light little board on that, but we got to drill a hole. We got to hook up the rest of the venting so that it can vent exterior. Okay, so we kind of came across a hiccup with those plywood beadboard. Now, we've used them before and not had any issue. These ones got pretty warped, something we were kind of afraid of. So when we went to go try and use them, they were just too warped. Wasn't quite what we were looking for. So now instead we have these tongue and groove panels, which as you can see, we're starting to put them up. It goes a little bit slower, definitely gonna take longer, but will look a lot cleaner in the long run. We've gotten some good progress done on the ceiling, and we needed a couple more boards just to get the nice finish at the corners over there. And then we were looking at it and we said, you know, it's nice, it looks good, but I think it would be cleaner if we had some trim boards, kind of like a crown molding, to go over it. So we went and we picked up these boards here. They're kind of decorative edge, and then we are staining them, and then they'll look like this when they're all done. So we'll put those up just to trim it out, make it a little cleaner with all the cuts at the end, and then we're going to move on from there to the tiling project. There's the tongue and groove beadboard ceiling, and then you can see we came through and did right up here against the edge, put up what looks like kind of a crown molding piece just to clean it up and make it nice, a little bit more decorative. Okay, so today's the day we are gonna do countertops. We got all the pieces in. We've been waiting on these Schluter edge tile pieces, and they finally came in. So these will be our corners. Painted them black, make them look nice. We've got the Schluter, which we need to cut down, and then, but before we do any of that, we are going to go ahead and add in two of these pretty heavy duty brackets underneath, because we do have this 1 foot of overhang here, and just to make sure that after the tile is done and any of that other weight that's going to go on there, someone may be pushing down on it, we just want to make sure we have that little bit of extra support. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 of those in, and yeah, so hurricane hitting the north of us right now, not too bad down here, so we're going to get working. Okay, so now that the brackets are in for supports, we can work on the Schluter edge. It's about time. We've been waiting on this for a while now. So here we go. We got the Schluter edge piece right here. It'll sit right on the edge of the tile like this. Go all the way down. We'll mark it and cut it, and it'll have a nice clean edge like this. We'll clean it up a little bit more. It got dinged up a bit, and that'll be our edge with our tile sitting right on top of it. So we'll go ahead and put this piece in right here, and this is this nice corner piece, which goes into this one here, and then it goes also into this one. So I'll get that set up and you can see it. And now when it comes to this right here, there's just enough of an overhang and a little bit underneath that I leave just enough that there's kind of a gap underneath there you can kind of see there. That way the tile can slide right up underneath, and if we don't get a perfect cut line with that tile, we get a nice clean edge because of this Schluter. And there we go. Now we've got the Schluter edge on with the tile ready to come next. All of the caps are on, all the corners. We're gonna come in here after we tile with a decorative, just a piece of trim there, and we're also gonna trim back here and then we're going to trim on that side as well as over here. So we'll just put up a nice trim piece to make it look pretty, and then I think we're also going to have like a quarter round trim going across the bottom. Some touch-up stuff to do, some caulk to fill and stuff like that, but really we're concerned about tile now. Hurricane running through. It's funny because the hurricane we're starting to get rain now. It's still dry under here, like maybe a little bit out there, but so now we're working on the tile. We put this down. This is just a dry fit right now. Just gonna figure out the layout of this, and then under here we're just kind of going through where we want the tiles to sit, how they're gonna fit in there, marking them, and then we'll cut, and then we won't be dry fitting them. We'll get the mortar going so we can put them in. Our dry fit of the tile is done. I highly recommend that you go ahead and fit this out, cutting all your tiles, making sure everything goes where it needs to go, because once you've got your mortar ready to go, you don't want to be messing with tile cuts and then trying to get that all straight. So we got this nice and all cut up the way we want. There's going to be trim pieces, make everything look pretty at the end, but we are now ready to go ahead and mortar these tiles down. So there's lots of parts of this build where I've had to do stuff by myself because of this little one right here, or with minimal help, just because she takes two hands a lot of the time. But right now, this is Maddie's kind of expertise. Maddie's really good at this, so she's in here. She's getting it all nice and grouted, nice and mortared, and then later we'll be able to grout it and we'll be able to work onto the backsplash. So. So we're up in here and we're adding some strip lights to the underside here. That way we will have light, and then we're gonna also do some on the inside of the cabinet here. That way from the inside, if we ever need to find anything and it's dark under there, we can get some light. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna attach these. Right now we're attaching it to the inside of the Schluter, the piece of metal. We'll go down the back side of the cabinet as well, and then we'll hang it on the inside, like I said. Cut this side of the hood vent, we attach this, we will connect it to the outside. Now we'll do the other side, we'll frame it out. This is all done. Put a pretty piece on, paint it blue. There's the hood vent. Got that brown board across, so we painted blue, did some decorative, and then we have a nice brown trim there. So we're gonna go ahead and drill a hole right here where my ring is, because that's where the blackstone's gonna sit, and this is where the fuel line is gonna run down, underneath, and through. So we're gonna go ahead and drill. Put a little water down, just to keep the bit from getting too hot. As you can see back in here, we drilled a hole, that way we're able to run the piping underneath for the pizza oven. We did the same for the Blackstone. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this desk grommet here, we're gonna go ahead and put this in that hole and then feed the pipe through. We'll put the cap on. It'll just be a nice, much cleaner look. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. See, the cabinets are now in, got the protective coating off and handle hardware on.
Try so much to get back. That's something you thought I had to drive me crazy, but I still want you here. So just give me the gun, I'll just pretend like that. I don't understand it, but you keep me together